Why? From the beginning, lease for $2,000 per month, apartment, car, so many stuff on me, Ukrainian girl.
I'm just a poor Ukrainian girl. How unfair that I don't have a job and I have to pay $2,000 a month in rent, says Natalie. Yeah, Natalie is back playing the victim. But the thing is, Natalie, you can't have it both ways. You can't expect Josh to pay your rent and buy you a car, then get offended when people suggest that he's your sugar daddy.
If you don't consider Natalie your girlfriend, why are you paying for all of these things?
Sugar daddy vibe.
Yeah, I know, and I've been trying to stay away from the sugar daddy vibes.
Now, before we get to the accusations and what Natalie has to say about them, let's start at the beginning. So we left Natalie as she was crying, walking away from Mike. That after he told her they could be friends, but, and I quote, "That doesn't mean I'm gonna pump a baby into you." But we join her today at the tell-all, and Sean kicks off proceedings by asking some light, easy questions. Like, for example, how she's enjoying LA, and to no one's surprise, she's not.
You cannot get to industry, the one I wanted to be in, because they don't accept just any walk-ins people from the street.
The film industry.
Yeah.
Wait, so Natalie just thought that she could walk in off the streets and land a role in a movie? She's so deluded. It's insane that she genuinely thought that's how it would be for her. But it's at this point that the warm-up is over. Now's time for the serious stuff. And Sean brings Josh on stage.
Hi.
Look beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow, okay, so that was very unexpected to say the least, especially given how things ended the last time we saw these two together. Now, of course, Josh's kiss and the fact that he called Natalie beautiful doesn't go unnoticed. So what does that mean, Sean asks? Are you two back together again?
We're still very close. We're friends. So, you know.
Your friends who kiss when they greet. It's, yeah.
It's, giving very mixed signals, but then again, that is Josh's favourite thing to do, remember? Like, this is a guy that buys Natalie a car, yet she's never even been to his apartment. He helped her to get a place to live with her mum, yet he also held her at arm's length from him emotionally. So yeah, Josh really does love his mixed signals. But curiously, it seems like Natalie likes it too, because he reveals last night they slept together.
Did you just say that she slept over last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
For being intimate, you're pretty stone cold over there.
John's right. Since the moment that Josh stepped out on set, Natalie has been stone cold silent. She hasn't said a single word. But we now know that the pair spent last night together. So what's her point here? Like, what point is she trying to make? What's she trying to achieve with this silence? Is she perhaps just feeling nervous? Like, is she just under pressure? Well, it's at this point that Sean brings out some old cast members. Some single life alumni, Debbie and Caesar. And you might recall that there was actually a lot of tension between Debbie, Caesar, Josh and Natalie in their last tell-all.
Debbie, what was your issue with Josh?
Oh, that he's a liar and he's using Natalie and a few other things. He can't keep his story straight.
Now, Debbie brings up the fact that Josh has been accused of having and living with a girlfriend the entire time that he and Natalie were supposedly dating. Which, come to think of it, I think might explain why she never got to go to his apartment. In a now deleted social media page, a fan page apparently found the girlfriend that Josh was supposedly with, and there were some red hot screenshots of Josh interacting on her social media page that made it seem very much like they were dating. But keep in mind that screenshots can be doctored. Nothing has been confirmed or proved, and that might just be why Sean immediately moves the conversation onto the big question in the room. Are Josh and Natalie really broken up?
We didn't talk for quite some time, and Natalie needed some help. Something had happened. She reached out to me and we like reconnected.
So are they together or aren't they? Well, Josh once again skillfully avoids the question, but he does reveal that Natalie got into an accident in the car that he bought for her, and that's why she turned to him for help. But when directly asked whether or not he considers Natalie to be his girlfriend, Josh's answer is no, not right now, which is a bit ouch. That's got to hurt.
It's like we had this conversation 1 year ago. Like,
and you just slept with her last night. I
This
mean,
is what I'm
is there
saying.
some problem going
Yeah, like we
on?
woke up
It's like-
together, next day you say like, we're not dating.
Look, these two shouldn't be together. They clearly want very different things. Josh wants a buddy, a pretty girl on his arm that he can casually see but not bring round to his house. No strings attached. He can act the hero and look after her, but he doesn't want any real commitment. But on the other hand, on the very different hand, Natalie's looking for something serious. She's looking for the future father of her children. So why then have they fallen back into each other's arms, knowing this? Well, the cast attempt to find out if anything's different this time. Has Natalie been inside Josh's apartment yet, for instance?
Have you ever been to Josh's place in
Bill
LA?
Joshua.
We're not even together right
She
now.
lives in LA now.
Now, Josh goes on to say that after seeing Natalie's behaviour this season, he's just not ready to introduce her to his daughter, and who can blame him? But the thing is with Josh, he's just not ready to cut Natalie loose. Like, he knows that he can't give her what she wants. He knows deep down that Natalie is never gonna change. She's never gonna be the kind of woman that will be stable enough to introduce to his daughter. So just stringing her along like this, it feels a bit cruel, especially when you consider that Natalie said that she loved Josh.
I like you a lot. I really do. I like you a lot. I do.
Has he ever told you that he loves you to this day?
No.
Bruh.
Tim and John share a bro-y laugh, like they know something that all the others don't. Now, keep in mind that Natalie and Josh have been together on and off for 3 years at this point. Never in all of that time has he said to Natalie that he loves her. She hasn't even been to his apartment. She hasn't met his daughter. So to John, this seems pretty clear-cut.
Let's just cut this down pretty simple, all right? This is pretty simple, right? He has feelings for you, but he's not gonna marry you.
Wow.
Again, ouch. But Natalie does need to hear that, because obviously it hasn't yet sunk in for her. Tim seems to think that Josh is just indefinitely waiting for the parts of Natalie that he doesn't like to magically disappear. It's at that point that maybe he'll take things to the next level. But the thing is, in all the time that we've seen Josh and Natalie together, we've never seen him try to work on any of the issues that he has with Natalie. He prefers to remove himself from the situation instead.
When we have these meltdowns, I don't ever want that to be in my home. You know, I haven't been ready to just really commit to having her meet my daughter yet.
Fair enough. There's not much else to say. But if Josh isn't willing to work together with Natalie, work on these issues as a couple, well, then what's the point of their relationship? It seems like maybe Josh hasn't been open about what he needs Natalie to work on. Maybe she doesn't understand what she's doing that's turning him off. Because it's at this point that she demands that Josh spell out to her what her problems are. Now, Josh is hesitant about this, but Natalie's insisting. She demands to know.
Jealousy is a very big one. For instance, like I took her to a really nice place, a nice hotel, and these two beautiful girls were next to us, and they looked at me, and I mean, that was it.
Josh says that Natalie began yelling at him. She was screaming, "Why would you take me to this hotel? There's prostitutes here." But Natalie seems confused by Josh's story. She says she never said that. She asks Josh why he would say that. And he just seems too exhausted to even answer. So Sean moves on, and she shows brand new footage of Josh's colleagues.
I got all of the statements from the accounting team. There's multiple transfers to her directly.
Sorry, what? Has Josh been sending her money out of the business directly? Why do his friends not seem more angry about this? It's almost as if his friends are more focused on trying to get Josh to see what they see, which is that Natalie isn't good for him or his career.
I know that Natalie is demanding, she's needy, she's rude a lot of times, and she's taking way too much time away from Josh.
Natalie did want someone to tell her what her problems were, so I guess the lesson here is be very careful what you wish for. But Josh's friends aren't done yet. They've mentioned in the past that Josh is the type of man who tries to look after and fix people. That might explain why he's tried so hard to set Natalie up with her life in LA. But his friends say he needs to stop doing that.
Maybe for once, you should be open to, dating someone who's not a project. Someone that's already finished. That would be great.
For hopefully the last time, ouch. Being called a project and unfinished can't be nice to hear for Natalie. And you can see her become emotional as she watches someone she claimed to love just allow his friends to talk about her that way. But now that her emotions are taking over, Natalie starts to ask what she's done to deserve being spoken to like that.
Calling me names and insulting me for what? Being loyal to you more than 2 years? For what did I do? Like, do I deserve it? And I'm alone in LA.
Look, the thing is, that may be how Natalie sees her relationship with Josh, but she's clearly victimising herself here, because they are right. Natalie is demanding, she is a lot of work, and she is incredibly needy. We've seen Josh do a lot of things that others wouldn't in order to try and help her, but yet it's never good enough. Natalie begins to cry. She cries about not being able to find employment in LA. But the thing is, this would have more effect if we hadn't seen what she's like at a job interview. We've seen it firsthand, and it was Josh that tried to set her up with that, remember?
Nobody gave me word. Like, why do I put myself into this situation? Why? From the beginning, lease for $2,000 per month. On me, Ukrainian girl.
Yeah, Josh did his very best to line up a job for her, but she was an unprofessional nightmare at the interview. Now, the most annoying thing about all of this is that Natalie left Mike in order to pursue a life in LA. But that life of hers seemed to involve expecting Josh to drop everything in order to look after her. That just isn't what Josh signed up for. Like, a prime example of this is how upset Natalie is of how expensive rent is in LA. She says rents are so high that she can't afford it. But why is that anyone else's problem? Why does she just expect someone else to handle that for her?
Did you invite her to move to LA?
I moved to LA for him.
No,
yes?
no,
I was supposed to be in the movie.
But he said he didn't invite you.
No.
He said
I'm lying.
said you wanted to move to LA.
And this, surprisingly, might just be the root cause of many of Natalie and Josh's issues. Natalie's living under the delusion that Josh invited her to come to LA for him, which is why she expects him to now look after and marry her. But the problem is, Josh sees things very differently. He says he made it very, very clear to Natalie if she was moving to LA, it was for herself, not for him.
You wanted to come to LA, you wanted to pursue acting, and I even had my reservations before you came out there. I said, don't come here just for me. Please, don't.
Look, I believe Josh. We all know how delusional Natalie can be. This is the lady who walked out on Mike, hadn't seen him in over a year, yet somehow convinced herself that they'd get back together and have a baby. Like, I can imagine her doing exactly the same thing about LA with Josh. She really does see the world very differently from the rest of us. Now, Sean calls Josh's colleagues to come and join them on stage, and it's very obvious that one of them has a bit of backtracking to do.
I like Natalie a lot. We've been able to hang out a lot. And I really think that the overlying problem is that she is so passionate about so many things.
From rude, needy and demanding to so passionate. That's quite the climb down. That seems to be damage control 101. But as Josh's colleague is trying to make Natalie feel better about what he's said, Debbie decides to chime in. She demands to know why his attitude has changed so drastically.
You've met people and then you've hung out with them longer and then you've changed your perspective on them because you've got to know them more.
Back then,
Yeah.
how long did you know her?
It's pretty simple. He didn't know her before and he understands her a bit better now. But Debbie now wants to get into the nitty-gritty of something that doesn't even matter. Like, sorry, am I missing something? Why is Debbie even here? Josh's colleagues share stories of how distracted Josh used to be at work when he was together with Natalie. But Sean wants to get to the bottom of something that actually is important.
If you don't consider Natalie your girlfriend, why are you paying for all of these things?
I care for Natalie a lot. I think we care for each other.
And he also adds to this that, quote, she's fun to be around. And that's it. That seems to be Josh's answer. Like, the thing with Josh is he's so hard to defend when he's so bad at giving answers. What does that answer even mean? Like, no one seems sure what to make of this. And Chantel pipes up with what might actually be the most insightful thing that she's said all season.
It seems like she wants like a real, genuine relationship with you, but you're giving sugar daddy vibes.
Yeah, listen, I know, and I've been trying to stay away from the sugar daddy vibes.
Bingo, she's hit the nail on the head. Natalie wants to be his wifey, but he's just buying her things and sleeping with her. That is sugar daddy vibes. Now, Josh's friends defend him by saying he's a caring, generous person. And okay, Josh clearly has some good friends on stage here, but it's just not enough. No one's buying it.
That's exactly what it means. He gives you money and you have sex and you have nothing else. You don't have the house. You don't get to go to the house. You don't get to meet the kids. You just give the sex and get the dollars.
Natalie's getting annoyed with this line of questioning. Why? Because this is also judgment being cast on her. If Josh is a sugar daddy, then that makes her a sugar baby. Now, from the outside looking in, that might be exactly how we all see the arrangement. Natalie doesn't see it that way at all. She claims she and Josh both know what their relationship is and isn't. So Tim steps in to try and explain what Veronica meant.
Josh is giving her money, but sleeping with her, but won't commit to her.
Are you joking? What are you putting? He's giving me money by sleeping with me.
Okay, wait.
What?
Uh-oh, Natalie's misunderstood what Tim's trying to say. All she's hearing is that Tim's claiming Josh pays Natalie to have sex with him. She sees this as Tim calling her a prostitute. And for the first time this tell-all, Natalie fully lets go of her emotions.
Why are you even talk like that? Tim, are you normal? No, I'm not teaching you.
Okay, Natalie.
First of all, no, it's not gonna happen.
Not what he means.
No, explain yourself.
Natalie won't listen to anyone else speak. She's fueled by pure rage and indignation. In fact, Natalie goes through what seems to be a whole spectrum of emotions. She goes from anger to shock to hurt and then finally to sadness. She's sad at how she's being treated and belittled by everyone. But what Natalie seems to have completely missed or misunderstood is that most of the cast were actually defending her.
But I'm a good human being who deserves respect, who fights so hard for myself when my mom's leaving. And I do deserve respect. I'm a human. How can you do this?
So far, we've just gone round and round in circles. We know that Natalie still wants a real relationship. We know that Josh isn't ready to do that with Natalie. So doesn't that just mean that they're in exactly the same place today as they were a year ago? We can all see that this relationship isn't going anywhere. Hopefully in the next tell-all we might get some real answers. But knowing Josh, that probably won't be the case. And knowing Natalie, she's probably just going to resort to tears anyway.